Greetings everyone, Nick here. In today's video we're going to do 5 classic Phil Collins drum grooves. Let's have some fun. When people think Phil Collins, I'm sure they think of the song In the Air Tonight because it's such a famous and iconic song. That drum fill, everybody knows whether you're a musician or not. It's iconic, right? But Phil was a stud of a drummer way back in the 70s with the band Genesis, in the fusion bands he played in like Brand X and stuff. And he just had a very unique style that was loose, but had great pocket and great feel, and he was a huge influence on my drumming. So these 5 classic Phil Collins drum grooves, we're going to take 3 from the early days in Genesis from the 70s, 72, 74, and 78, and then 2 from his solo career. And let's get started. The first one is a song called Watcher of the Skies from the album Foxtrot. This is an iconic progressive rock tune that if you're into progressive rock, you know this song. And if you're not into progressive rock and you don't know this song, you need to check it out. This particular groove is in 6/4, and it's just a pattern that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating throughout most of the tune. You play it sometimes on the ride cymbal, you play it with your snare and your floor tom, or sometimes with your hi-hat and your snare. First, let me play the groove for you without a click track so you can hear it, and then we'll get into the details. Here we go. That's the groove that plays through most of the song, and all of the other instruments in the song are playing that as well, so it really locks in tight. And another thing about this groove that keeps it pretty easy is that the kick drum is playing the quarter notes all of the time. So you have this bass around everything else that really keeps you grounded in this groove. So this groove is all based around 16th notes, and there's a lot of upbeats going on. So let me sing this groove for you too. You just heard me play it, but I'm going to play the pulse, I'm going to clap the pulse, I should say, with my hands here, and then vocalize this groove. You can hear where all the upbeats are coming in. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum, ba-ba-ba-ba, ba-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-dum. So the first beat is straight 16th notes, ba-da-da-dum, bum, and then the last 2 are right on it, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. All the ones in between are all the upbeats, but it's a really cool, easy flowing groove. Once you get that pattern in your head, it just kind of rolls over itself, one after the other and after the other. Let me now play this groove for you with the click track so you can hear what the actual tempo is of the song. It's right around 128 beats per minute with quarter notes in 6/4 time. I doubt the band played this song to a click when they recorded it back in 1972, but it's roughly where it is when you listen to the song. Here we go. It's actually pretty difficult when you play it at that tempo, and the hardest part about it is playing those fast 16th notes with your offhand, your weak hand. So if you're a right-handed drummer, your left hand. If you're a left-handed drummer, your right hand. And you want to get all of those fast 16th notes playing in unison, not really flamming. You want them to be playing at the same time, so you're not hearing a bunch of flams, no matter what part of the drum kit you're playing on. It's a really fun groove to check out. I encourage you to do so. The second groove I'm going to play is from a song called Cinema Show, from the Genesis record Selling England by the Pound from 1973. Again, an iconic Phil Collins drum groove, and this song is really famous for, it's a pretty long tune, it's about 7 or 8 minutes long. The second half is all instrumental, and it has this iconic keyboard solo from Tony Banks that is really specific. And the way Phil Collins plays around this keyboard solo with this groove is really awesome because he plays off of the keyboard solo and he kind of hits certain accents and stuff with it and then goes back to the groove again. The whole band is really tight, and it's just one of those Genesis tunes that if you're a drummer and you like progressive rock, this is one of the best songs that they have ever done. So again, this is from the middle of the track onwards. This is the instrumental section of the song Cinema Show. It's in 7/8. About this tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something like that, and this is what the groove sounds like without the click track. Here we go. What's so cool about this groove and what really brings out the style of Phil Collins drumming is the use of the ghost notes and all the in-between stuff he does with his offhand. Now, he's a left-handed drummer, so that would be his right hand, but for all of us right-handed drummers, it's your left hand. There's a lot of really cool in-between stuff that makes this groove so special. Now, if you're thinking about this in 7/8, there's some good accents that will anchor you in this groove. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can hear those accents in the hi-hat. The hi-hat opens and closes on those beats. So check this out real quick. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you feel those accents like that, it's much easier to play in an odd time signature. Then after those two accents on beats 1 and 3, you're basically playing almost every note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, E and a 4, E and a 5. You know, all the in-between stuff is happening as well. You can almost think of it as just playing single stroke roll. You're playing all of the notes. And then once you get comfortable with it like that, pull in some extra stuff, some buzzes on your left hand, and don't worry about getting a little bit sloppy in there. It'll all come together once you practice this enough. One thing I want to mention about the last two beats of the 7, beat number 6 and beat number 7, is that they're 2 beats each. Okay, so you play like a double stroke roll on those last 2 beats. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All together, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have the accents on beats 1 and 3. 4 and 5 are just back and forth. 6 and 7 are 2 strokes each. It's kind of a way to think about it that might make it simpler for you to put the whole groove together. With all that being said, let me put the click track on. This particular song is in 7/8 at 280 beats BPM, and that's at eighth notes, okay? Not at quarter notes, at eighth notes at 280 beats per minute. So here we go. Let's play this groove to tempo. It is such a cool groove and a really great groove to learn how to play in 7/8 time if you're not too used to that. Check out Cinema Show by the band Genesis from 1973. The next groove, a stupendously great, cool, fun, and hard groove to play from Phil Collins. This is from the record called And Then There Were Three, band Genesis again, 1978. This is the first record where Genesis was just a 3-piece. Steve Hackett had left, so now they were doing everything, just the 3 of them. And man, Phil Collins was on fire on this record. He was playing hard. There's a lot of really kind of heavier songs on this record, and this is the first track on the record called Down and Out. And this is a hard thing to play, but it's just, he kills it, and if you can get it into your hands, well, you're gonna have a lot of fun playing this groove. It is in 10/4. You could think of it as 2 bars of 5/4, but to me it's easier to think of it as in 10/4. And then I break that up into 7/4, and then 2 bars of 3/8. Whenever I try to teach somebody on how to play in an odd time signature, I think it's really beneficial to break up the bar into chunks. It's way easier to feel the odd time. You don't have to count every beat, okay? There's no prizes for counting every beat. If you break it up into chunks and it's easier for you to do it that way, great, right? So what I do for this one, like I said, a bar of 7/4, and then 2 bars of 3/8. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. The last 2 are like 2 quick triplets, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It's easier than counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because those last 3 beats are actually the two little triplets, and sometimes you fall over yourself in putting those two together. To me, I think this is way easier. With that said, let me play the groove, and then we'll get into the details like the others. Here we go. It's so much fun to play. You got to check this tune out if you've never heard it. It's really heavy and frenetic and fast and just a lot of fun. So as you heard, the beginning of the groove is not that hard. Okay, you're just playing, it's almost like you're playing a four on the floor kind of thing. Blah, do, blah, do, blah, do, blah, do, back and forth between the kick drum and the snare drum. That's the easy part. It's those last three beats or the two little quick triplets that are the hard parts. So let me kind of break it down slowly, and I'll kind of vocalize it too. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So you can keep the pulse going all the way through it, just like I was doing with my hi-hat. But again, what's really easy to do when you play those quick little triplets is to rush them and to play them too fast and then not get back on the beat, on the next downbeat. Now again, with a lot of these early grooves, I'm almost positive they did not play to a click track or metronome. They were playing free as a band, but it's still so solid when you hear these tracks. I'm going to attempt to play this to a click track, just so, which I recommend you do the same because it really grounds you into learning how to play those other quick little bursts, like those quick triplets, and still be in time, okay? It's a great challenge and a great exercise to do that with. So let me get over here, turn the click track on. The tempo for this is right around 195. Let me quickly mention something about the click track that I made for this, because this might help you in your recording at home if you're playing with your band and you're playing a difficult song that's in a weird time signature. I programmed the click track to do that same thing for me. So you hear it play 7 quarter notes, and then the fast eighth notes, the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is, right here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see if I can play this groove in time with the click track. Here we go. So there you go, that was the groove with the click track in time. Let's break down the beginning part of the groove too, because it's not just about those last two triplets. So right now, let me concentrate on the first 7 beats. Your right hand plays all of the eighth notes, all the way up to beat number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your left hand or your snare hand plays beats 3, 5, and 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. The kick drum, you're doing lots of doubles, which makes this groove even more fun. So you play the very first beat, beat number 1, and then before your snare hits on beats 3, 5, and 7, you do a double right before it. So let me first play just the hands, so you kind of hear what they're doing. Again, this is just the first 7 beats, right? Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now with your kick drum, play a beat number 1 and then play a double stroke right before beats 3, 5, and 7 on your snare drum, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Then to round it all out, you play those 2 fast triplets, tack those on to the end of those first 7 beats, like this. It's hard, but it's fun. That was the groove from the song Down and Out from the Genesis record, and then there were three from 1978. So much great drumming on that record. I highly encourage you to check it all out. Now on to the next groove. Okay, now we're going to get into some fun grooves from Phil's solo career. The first song we're going to jump into right now is called I Don't Care Anymore. It's from the record Hello, I Must Be Going from 1982. And in some of Phil's solo work, he got really into playing toms as the main groove of the song, and this one is iconic. I want to take a step back and talk about the gear here that I'm playing real quick, because when you're playing Phil Collins grooves, especially from this period, from Face Value, which is In the Air Tonight, and past that, he had an iconic sound. It's because of the drums he was playing. He played Gretsch drums like I have here, and Sabian cymbals like I have here, even ProMark drumsticks. But Phil had single-headed toms, and he had the sizes went from, I think, 8-inch, like 8, 10, 12, 15, 16, and 18. So they had a very distinctive sound because they were concert toms, no bottom head. So, not very many of us have that kind of drum kit sitting around. So getting the exact sound is almost not doable, but you could still play the exact same parts, okay? And that ties in with this song, because even though you don't have that exact kit, you could play this groove on any size drum kit. I have 2 up and 2 down here, give you a nice variety of tom tones, but even if you have a small 4-piece kit, you could still play this groove at home. This groove is in 4/4 time. No odd time signatures to worry about with this groove right here. Let me play it first and then we'll get into some details. Here we go. What's cool about this groove is that Phil really utilized the sound and the tones and the pitches of his toms to make this groove. It wasn't random, it really had a flow to it, and sort of like a melodic sound that he took right off of his drum kit. The groove starts with a kick drum. The very first beat is a kick drum. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, kick in. That's right, 1, 2, 3, 4, kick, boom, boom. It's a cool way to start the groove. It really kind of propels you forward. And then melodically, let me vocalize the groove a little bit so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about when I talk about melody with the toms. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, 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 don't, don't. So he starts high, goes back and hits that high pitch one more time, and then rolls his way down the tom. So it's a really cool, cool flowing groove, very tribal sounding. They also do this really cool technique on the recording where they put a bunch of gated reverb sound on the drums. So the drums sound really wet at the beginning of the song, and then they pull the reverb back. The sound of the toms are really dry, like they're in a small little space in a room, and then the reverb comes back again. It's a really cool recording technique. So let's put the click track on. This song is about around 142 BPM, and again in 4/4 time. Let's check it out. The kick drum part in this groove is actually really simple. You play the very first beat, beat number 1, and then at the end of the second bar, beat number 4, you play the second eighth note. So it's basically the pickup to the downbeat again. So I'm going to clap the pulse and play the kick drum part for you. Again, it's super simple. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1. So very simple there, not much going on. You're not playing the snare, at least at the beginning of the song. The snare comes in towards the end of the tune, but on the basic groove, you don't have to worry about playing the snare drum, and you don't really have to do much with your left foot, your hi-hat. You could keep time if you want to, but in the song, you don't hear the hi-hat at all. It's all about the toms and the kick drum. And when you listen closely to the way Phil plays drums, there's accents going on, but he's always filling up the sound with a lot of ghost notes and other stuff to fill up that space, which really gives the grooves motion and flow. And this groove is no different. Let me vocalize the accents on the tom part, because you can really hear where they lay if you just hear a pulse and you hear my voice. So let's check this out. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, ba, ba, bo, ba, bo, bo, ba, ba, bo, ba, bo, bo. He really utilizes the upbeats to give you like sort of tension, and then at the end of the groove, the end of the 2 bars, he's right on the beat, right on the pulse, okay? 3, 4. Boom, boom. 3, 4. So it's sort of like it grounds you at the end of the 2 bars and then gets you back into that tension when it goes right back around to the first bar again. It's pretty cool and really creative. So this is what it sounds like all together. And in time. 1, 2, 1. That was the drum groove from the song I Don't Care Anymore from the Phil Collins record Hello, I Must Be Going from 1982. A great song, really cool. Wait till you hear his voice. At the end of that song, he's singing really hard and his voice is cracking and it just sounds so great. It's a lot of fun to play. Another groove I highly encourage you to check out. Now on to groove number 5. The last groove I'm going to demonstrate right now in 5 classic Phil Collins grooves is from the song Take Me Home from the record No Jacket Required from 1985. This was Phil Collins' biggest solo record. I think he won 5 or 6 Grammys that year when this record came out. This is the song that he would always close the concerts with. I think he still closes the concerts with that even to this day. Very cool tribal drum beat. Again, utilizing the toms and the great sound of his drum kit, but again, you can play this on any drum kit. This groove is 2 bars long, it's in 4/4 time, and it's about 120 BPM. What's cool about this groove rhythmically is that it almost makes you feel like beat 1 is not really beat 1, depending on where it's just because of where those accents lie in the groove. And let me demonstrate. Another way to think about this groove, which might help you feel it, is that it's actually in a half-time feel. There's a real big heavy accent on beat 3 of each bar. So let me vocalize this one as well so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, ticka doom. Ba, boom, ticka doom, doom. Ba, ticka ticka 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, da, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, ticka 2, 3, 4. Ba, da, doom, doom. 3, 4. Think of a halftime groove that you play normally with hi-hat, snare, and kick drum. Okay, that accent is heavy on beat number 3. It's the same with this tom groove. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also in this groove, there's a sort of a theme going on rhythmically that might be able to help you ground yourself into this groove. 16th notes, here's your pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 and a 2. Ba, 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 bum. 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2. That happens a lot throughout this groove. That is the very first thing you play at the top of this groove. 1 and a 2. 3, 4. 1 and a 2. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, that theme, bump, 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 1 and a 2 happens quite a bit throughout this groove. And that's how you start it as well. Let me put on the click track and play this groove in time so you kind of hear how it lays with a click behind it. There we go. Again, at 120 BPM. Here we go. This is a super fun groove to play. It's got a nice tribal beat to it. some really cool rhythmic themes going on inside of it. And once you feel that halftime beat number 3, it really grounds you into this groove, and it's an awful lot of fun to play. Again, this is Take Me Home from the record No Jacket Required from 1985, number 5 in our 5 Phil Collins classic drum grooves. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video, everyone. If you're new to Phil Collins drumming, if you don't know much about his early work with Genesis or his early solo career stuff, I highly encourage you to check it out because there's so much great stuff to learn from. And there we go. Let's have some fun and play some drums. We'll see you again here soon. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click right here for more videos just like these, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.